What up, gents? Welcome to the Sensational Gent. I am your host, Sean C. And today we are celebrating live stream number 50. So I've only missed probably about 2 live streams in the last year. So I gotta say that this is a big achievement to have been doing 50 live streams, a year worth of live streams, pretty consistent. And that's all because of you guys. Again, my name is Sean C. Do me a favor when you come in here, hit that like button so more people can be alerted of this channel, more people can be alerted what's going on, and hit that subscribe button, the bell icon notification next to the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos here on TSG. And tonight I'm going to be talking to a guest of mine who we're going to talk about how he came across the channel. We're going to ask him a lot of questions, but I think he has a very interesting perspective on some of the things that we talk about here on this channel. So I hope that you guys engage. I hope that you guys engage. Let me check something real quick, guys. And I'll check this in a second. I hope you guys engage. Ask your questions in the chat. We'll get into them. Okay. Make sure I don't have any technical difficulties real quick. I just realized why. That might change it up right there. So hopefully there's no echo right now. Sorry about that. We had multiple things going on there. So I'm about to bring up my guest real quick. Again, I have a lot of questions for him. I hope you guys have some questions. We're going to talk about a very interesting topic tonight. Very interesting topic. And I look forward to hearing what the gents have to say about these things. Okay, I want to know what y'all think. He's interested to know what y'all think. And we just going to put it out there. So without further ado, I'm about to bring up my guest.
What's good? What's good?
Happening, brother? Hold on, let me get the different layout there. Hold on, let me get my headphones in there.
Okay.
I hate hearing myself speak.
All right, no problem.
Man, you looking clear to the mug, man. Mine ain't even came through good yet.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure you can see me okay and hear me okay.
You know what? I didn't share my sound yet.
Okay.
One second, because I can't hear you.
All right, no problem. No
Bring
problem.
it back to me. I'm sorry, that's technical difficulty.
Yeah.
Why can't I hear? I cannot hear you.
Testing.
Uh-oh. Yeah, thanks for I am retired. I think I found out where the echo was at. The problem is, can you hear me, bro?
I can hear you perfect.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you. Ain't that something?
Right. Ask the chat if they can hear me.
Okay. Well, that sucks because that may mean I might have to. Yeah, you guys can hear me, but I can't hear him. There we go. Yeah, so I had another screen connected. So I was actually working with, finally got another monitor and stuff like that.
Right.
And let me know if I can hear you. Say something real quick.
Testing 1, 2,
Gotcha.
3.
You
Okay.
all good, baby. So that was all because I had the monitor hooked up.
All right. No worries. We good. You know.
All good, baby. What's going on with you tonight?
Chilling, man. Wednesday, about to go hit the gym after this stream, getting ready for my Mexicali trip. So definitely happy to be on this stream with you, brother.
I appreciate you. Tell everybody how you found the Simsational Gent.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a new YouTuber, QB Passport Flexin'. I'm a Geomaxer. So any of the YouTubers that are Geomaxing, I would like to do a collab and put my point of view on it. And I came across your channel, and I see that you're, one of my favorite cities. Well, you're in Playa del Carmen, but Cancun. And I'm like, yeah, let me hit this brother up. Very similar perspectives in regards to travel maxing and, understanding that in this new age, it's better to be a global man than kind of living the American dream.
Yeah, and we'll get into a lot of that as we continue on because we're gonna talk about some of those questions. Let me get to my shout out section. Let me tell you something. If you come up in my live streams, you leave a constructive comment, you leave a comment, period, right? Only if you do negative comments, I ain't gonna shout you out. But if you leave a good comment, I'm gonna shout you out, okay? Because I can't do this show, I can't do this channel. It is nothing without the gents. So let me get into the chats real quick and see who's in there. I am retired, says no echo. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate you. And I like that. I am retired. I like that. Then we got Anthony Lord, shout out from London. Man, we got London up in the house. Let me tell you something, man. Thank you very much. I hope that you have a great time tonight as we discuss all this stuff. Thank you for being here, right? And then Anthony says, we can hear you both. Okay, we got through all the issues. My bad. I tried to be all productive and have a second monitor going. All right. Yep, so we were getting through that. You don't have to restart. It was all me. I'm heading to Davao, Philippines for the third time this year. My Filipina is there. Sis Blackmail. Okay, man, I hear you, brother. And we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff tonight. We're going to get into that discussion. Thank you guys for being here. Again, when more people come into the live stream, I am more than willing to shout them out because, again, I cannot do it without you guys. So let me get in here, start with the questions, get this dude introduced. Like he said, came across my channel. I appreciate that. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about you and your channel and what's the goal of your channel. You talked about geomaxing and stuff like that. What is that about?
Okay, QB Passport Flex, and this is a channel, Instagram QB Willie B. The purpose of my channel is to emphasize guys to get their passports, live the lifestyle that they so desire, and have many options as possible, and understanding that the benefits of having a passport from a black pill perspective. That's pretty much my channel.
Okay, so for the people that may not know what a black pill person is, what does that mean? We don't know.
So,
what does that mean?
Right. So of course you have the blue pill, the red pill, and the black pill. Basically, the black pill emphasizes female attraction is basically off of looks, money, status. That's the whole black pill perspective, and it's taking game out of the equation in regards to that.
Now you say it takes game out of the equation. So
Right.
you're saying that you basically essentially like whatever it takes with money or influence or whatever to try to get women?
Right. Well, again, looks matter, and for certain guys, they have to meet a woman's looks threshold in terms of attraction, whereas game is more of like manipulative tactics per se. Black pillars are understanding that if you have the looks, you meet the woman's threshold, she's going to like you for who you are, and you don't have to do all these manipulative tactics.
So I want to push back on what you just said. You said that
Sure.
game is manipulative tactics, but game, I mean, when you look at game in a basic perspective, okay, right? Like game itself. I'm not talking about like lying to a woman. I'm saying using game. Women use game on us when they use makeup, right? Women use game on us when they, got their hair done or they wearing a tight dress, right? That's game in a way. So why is it bad for a man to spit a little game, right? Women like that. Women are attracted to men that can be seductive with their words. We're not talking about being manipulative. We're not talking about lying to them. So I'm saying, why is game out of the equation if that's the case? Something that's natural.
Right. So I think when it comes down to the definition of game, so when I, talk to a lot of dating coaches, which I've had, being on other channels, my definition of game is the verbal seduction to a woman. And most PUAs and dating coaches will say that looks don't matter and you can verbally seduce a woman to have the attraction and desire to eventually sleep with her.
Okay.
Um, so as long as a guy understands that the woman is attractive to you, you don't need to do any of those manipulative tactics. And that's just basic social intelligence and social awareness.
So what about the guy who don't necessarily have the looks? So what you saying that wouldn't he have to use some level of game? Because I'm gonna tell you, I've seen so many busted ass looking dudes end up with some pretty women because of game. You can't sit here and tell me them dudes was like, well, maybe he had money. Because I'm looking at them dudes and they don't look nothing like money. They don't look nothing like class or whatever. So there's some level of game, there's some level of manipulation. So what about the guy, right? The guy that don't have the full looks. Don't he have to have some level of a mouthpiece? And when I say game, you said talking or manipulative tactic. Oh, I want to say, I hate using that word manipulative, but using talking, using seduction as a tactic through words. Don't a man have to have some level of game in order to be able to attract a woman?
Right. Well, again, it's just social awareness and social intelligence. So, of course, a lot of guys will say, well, I know this friend that's 300 pounds or whatever, and he's able to attract this type of woman that's like a 7 or 8. And again, there's many different dynamics to it. That guy could be a drug dealer, that guy can be an owner of a business, and that's where it's the money and status plays a role as well. So without knowing the situation, and just seeing that for face value, you have to have those other elements in place as well to make a fair assessment of that.
And of course, right? Like it's too many scenarios, whatever. And that's the reason why I said, well, then again, I kind of disagree in the sense that I think you got to have some level of game. Okay, if you don't know how to talk to a woman, and I hear what you're saying, you're using specific words, talking about social intelligence, right? Being able to hold yourself in a conversation and stuff like that. I know people that, like, I did engineering, right? I worked around with a bunch of very smart people, and some of them were, you would think they just regular dudes. I was a mechanic initially by trade, and as I learned my craft, I learned more stuff, right? But I also grew up in New Orleans, so it's different. But I knew a dude, smart guy. He knew he was a little bit pudgy. He was okay, average looking dude, a little bit above average, but he was slightly balding. But his thing was, his game was he knew he was funny. So is that, would you consider that game a manipulation, or would you say that he's just operating a social construct? To me, he was spitting game.
Right. Well, again, guys can have personality and guys can be funny, but if the woman's not attracted to you sexually, it doesn't lead beyond that, sphere and dynamic type of relationship with the woman. Now, again, there's sometimes outliers, we see it, but for the most part, you go to a bar or nightclub, the most attractive women are leaving with guys that they find attractive. And that's usually guys that are tall, in shape, have a youthful look to them for the most part. Now, again, there's outliers to the rule, and I don't disagree with that. But for the most part, pretty much 80% of the time, that's what you're going to see.
Let me bring up a comment here by Anthony. First of all, let me shout out Life of a Positive Mother. What's up, Precious? How you doing, baby? Again, congratulations on your baby girl. Just want to say congrats on that and your birthday. I hope you had a great time. Hope you was able to get out and do something. Life of a Positive Mother used to have a channel here on YouTube, and we was all on the come up together. So I appreciate her for being here and supporting the channel as always. Also, Anthony says, go to Japan, game is not needed. Just be able to talk. And let me tell you something. Let me make sure that I make it clear for everybody. Okay, I grew up in the South. Game was needed. You needed to be able to spit a little game. I don't believe you should have game to the point where you are lying or manipulative the way you said. But I believe you gotta be, as you call it, maybe it's social intelligence, what you're talking about, right? If you want to call it that. But I believe some game is needed. Now, what I like what Anthony said, I want to bring that up, is he talked about that game isn't needed, just be able to talk normal. And I'm gonna tell you, when you hold yourself right, you're a professional man, you think you're doing everything, it'd be nice just to be able to be yourself and talk to women. What do you think about that comment right there, bro?
The one that game is not needed in Japan, or
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. When you go to foreign countries, and I'm not sure if Anthony has experienced this, but when there's a language barrier, and you have that social intelligence, like I talked about, and awareness, and recognize that when you walk in the room, the female is attracted to you, despite a language barrier, is just reading her body language and knowing how to respond and act based off of that. And I wouldn't classify that as game, because, again, there's no manipulative type tactic that you're doing. It's just raw attraction, and that happens vice versa. You just reciprocate that as a man and recognize, okay, this girl finds me attractive. I can dance with her, I can hang out with her, etc.
So let me ask you a question. If you are not for game or manipulative tactics, then what do you think about modern women today and the game and the manipulative tactics that they use? Are they not using manipulative tactics? Even if you go back 10, 20 years ago, it was still game that women run to.
Right. Well, that's the thing. For the most part, women actually game men, and that's where you have to be black pill aware of women's manipulation tactics, as her being a woman. So when she puts on the makeup, or she does other things to basically use you for your resources, you have to be aware of that. But again, a lot of guys that come into the space, they have very little to no experience, and they can't pick up on those type of things that women do to manipulate men.
Right. All right, let's get back to the comments real quick. Sure. So Precious says, I'm good. Thank you so much. Yes, I have to come and support. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That you're good. And then you got John Thomas. Good evening, QB.
What up, John? Appreciate
your boy that. Yep. Good support, man. I appreciate that. You got your people coming in here, checking out the channel. All right. So listen, what problem does black pill men have with red pill or mgtow men? Now, the reason why I say that is it was because of you that I actually watched another black pillar, and I heard him go off on the red pill and the MGTOW. Actually, it was mgtow, right? It was mgtow, I believe, right? So he was going off on mgtow, red pill. To me, hear me out, and listen, I know the toxicity in both of those. I'm sure there is toxic black pill people too, and maybe you can elaborate on that, but we'll get to that in a second.
Right.
But to me, in general, red pill is just the awareness, right? The awareness of the things that are going on, the awareness of the dynamic that is presently going on between men and women today, modern women and the modern man today, or the current man today. And with mgtow, to me, at least this is what I thought, that it was just dudes that was like, listen, I don't want to be a part of all this, right? It's all messy and stuff. I just rather do my thing. I watched a 20-minute video of a dude that was mgtow. Didn't mean that he was incel, he wasn't having relations. He just said, look, I just plan to be out of it. He had girlfriends, he's traveled the world, he had good fun and parties and stuff like that. So what is the problem? Why do I hear so much, animosity from the black pill toward the mgtow and the red pill? Sorry, I went on for that a little bit.
Yeah. No worries, no worries. So to pretty much uncover it, um, a lot of black pillars have animosity towards red pillars because they will say, like how we kind of mentioned, that all you need is game. Some red pillars will say looks don't matter, just be yourself, learn game, approach, X amount of women. And, when these guys come to these channels, they're searching for answers. And when they do those things and those things don't work, then unfortunately they become, nihilistic and bitter towards women. So the black pill, again, as I reinforce, is basically saying you have to meet a looks threshold for women, you have to have money, and you have to have status for that type of attraction. Now, all men are not created equal. There are men that are able to attract other women compared to, another man that can't attract a woman at all. So a red pillar doesn't put all those factors into, um, attraction for a female. And the black pillar is just basically saying, look, self-awareness, like you mentioned, take game out the equation, looks, money, status, and that's how women react towards men.
Okay. If I just let me sum up and see if I get this right. Okay.
Sure.
So you're saying independent of looks not independent of looks. If I have the looks, then of course I could be able to attract women. But in the absence of that, I either need status, money, or looks, right? You need one of those three. Is that what I'm getting from?
Status, money or status. And if you need examples of that, I can throw examples.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so like status would be you own your own company, or you're the director, and the intern has been an intern for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and she wants a job. So a woman will seduce a man that's maybe less attractive because he has the status of the director. He has the status of hiring her in that position. That's an example of status. Now, another example can be, and a lot of black pillars use this, but that's fine. I'm going to use it as well in this stream. But a guy that's a rapper or something like that, or is in a scene where there's a lot of famous and rich people. So he may not be the rapper, but he may be the corporate guy, and this girl wants to get to this guy. So because of his status, she will sleep with him. When we break it down in terms of money, well, when it comes to money can be a manipulated tactic as well. And there, women
you answered my question.
Oh, okay. Women will recognize, hey, this guy is rich. This guy drives a nice car. This guy's been hurt by many women. So you know what? I'm going to seduce myself to have access to his resources. So that's where money plays a role. But money also allows you to get the girl that you desire. However, that's through pay to play, which is basically, prostitution.
Okay. Well, you actually lead into my next thing. But before we get there, let me go ahead and get back to the chat. Steel Keys says game is not manipulative. See, like I'm trying to rock with you on that. I don't think the game, game can be manipulative. I just personally don't feel like that it is unless you have a bad motive. If I'm trying to seduce a woman because I'm just trying to make her giggle, smile, and do all these things, I don't think anything wrong with that. If anything, that's that little spark, man, that makes me decide.
And let me cut you off really quick. But the thing is, you recognize that a woman is interested in you before you even do all that. So if you look at a girl and she doesn't look back to you or she walks away, are you still gonna go up and do all that smiling and trying to make her laugh and everything like that? Most likely you're not gonna do that. So again, it's recognizing female attraction based on body language. And of course, I would say that's not a manipulative tactic. Okay. However, most men believe that if you use verbal seduction, you're able to manipulate sexual attraction. And I'm saying that's not true.
Oh, okay. You know what? I think I actually understand a little bit more what you're saying. That hit home for me. Okay.
Okay.
That hit home for me right now.
Okay. Okay.
Because if a woman, like my aunt used to tell me this all the time, women see you and they already know where they want to go with you from the moment they see you. Now,
Right.
you could go and talk to her and maybe you could change her mind in the aspect of, okay, I thought what was going to come out his mouth based on what I saw is different, but her initial attraction to you is what it is.
Right.
And is that what you're saying? Am I getting that right?
Yes, that is correct. That is
correct. Okay. Now I wanna get back to something. Hold on real quick. I'm not done with these comments yet.
Okay. All right.
I hear everything you're saying, and that makes 1,000% sense. I'm just gonna say that I get it. I hear you. Okay. I still feel like game is a part of it, but I do acknowledge when I say, hey, you got to have a little game. That's part of me. I realize you caught me. You got me. Because I realized I picked up on some cues or something that said, okay, there's a sliver of me going over there to have a chance. Right. I got my moment. I got my foot in the door. What am I going to say when I get over there? Right.
Right.
And, Emily, I don't want to beat that one with a dead horse. I don't want to beat that dead horse. And then you got my boy Ham's Flight Kitbox. What up, bro? What up, John? Thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate you. Man, we got Mr. Gigi in the house. What's up, Rum and QB flexing. Us red pillars and mgtows believe that we must beware of female nature by looking at things and her behavior with a red pill lens to see her natural manipulative nature. What do you think about that one? That was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he's right on. To be woman is to be manipulative. She will love you for what you can do for her, never for who you are. That's kind of my whole stance on that. And it's not to be bitter, but it's to have the self-awareness when it comes to female nature.
Now, real quick, I was like, would that be accurate? And then I thought about something. And I caught myself. Let me see if you agree with this. This would popped up in my head, an example of what you just said. It's like the woman that's like, I'm down for you, I love you, I'll be there for you, nothing to get us apart. That dude got a good job doing everything he's supposed to do. And then the dude that loses his job, and now she's looking at him, when you gonna get off your tail? When you gonna do that? I actually did a video about that on this channel where there was a doctor who went from making like $500,000, $750,000, went down to making $250,000, and his wife was thinking about leaving and jumping ship because she couldn't get $100,000 or $10,000 a month allowance. Actually, she was getting $10,000 a month allowance. He gave her the 3, and she talked about jumping ship. Is that sort of what you was talking about?
Yeah, that definitely hits home because women survive off of men's resources, and when it comes to mating, they want to mate with the best partner that they physically desire. So that's where the looks come in. So once a man doesn't have those two things, then it's going to be very, very difficult for him to attract a woman and to keep a woman in a relationship.
Yeah. So real quick, I don't know if y'all know this, but whenever we do these live streams, I would say about 80-90% of the time, I ask you guys a question. I want you guys to let me know in the chat right now. what you sipping on tonight. Now, I normally, y'all know me, I like to do my little vodka. Tonight, I'm just keeping it simple with some beer, okay? Let me know what y'all sipping on down in the chat. If you're not sipping on something, get something, chill out, relax, have a good time. That's what we're doing here. I know we asked some serious questions. I want to lighten it up at some point, but I need to know what y'all sipping on. Let me know what y'all sipping on down in the chat real quick. All right, let me bring up my boy back up here. Let me get a couple of these comments. I got Miss Amici, Wanda in the house. Thank you, Wanda, for being here. This is another one of my followers who has her own channel. Wanda has a family-based channel. She's raising her grandkids, her and her husband, and they're doing a great job raising those boys with structure. And so if you want a family channel, you want to check out Wanda. Also, check out her live streams too. Sometimes she'll do games and stuff, and sometimes she'll ask questions. Now, she has a bigger female woman following than I do. So when she asks some of the questions that we discuss here and stuff like that in her chat, you get some interesting answers. You know what I mean? I jump in there and throw in some perspective here and there. Great person. Glad to call her my friend. And thank you for being here, Wanda. I appreciate the support. Anthony says, outside the West, it's the natural dance of the masculine and feminine energies. Just being a man carries weight and automatically commands respect. Walk your masculine path and the choosing is done. What do you think about that one real quick?
Yeah, that hits home, but again, it goes down to how attractive the guy is,
Okay. So you keep coming back to that motif. I keep hearing that motif about attraction, okay? We might have to dig back into that for the people that just came in here. Matter of fact, if you are just coming in this stream, hit that like button. I'm telling you right now, tonight's topic has been on fire so far. My boy QB Passport Flexing right here is giving us a different perspective on this channel that is well needed to educate you, me, so we can be our best and live our best life. And we got so much more to talk about tonight. So again, hit that like button if you're new, subscribe to the channel. We got more that's gonna be coming up like this. And I am so excited to have you on here tonight, brother. Thank you so much for being here.
No
All
doubt.
right.
No doubt.
So we got some highs here, right? The live on the way in. Okay, yep. Hit that like on the way in. There you go. Mr. Gigi says, however, game may be required in westernized countries, i.e. US, Canada, UK, Western Europe, Australia, and it's more optional and not mandatory in second or third world traditional countries. I'll let you answer that in a second. I'm kind of behind in the chat. Let me get in here. Smack that like button, fam. Thank you very much, Anthony, for going ahead and telling people to do that. Thank you. Keep that regulated. Precious says, this water, I need something stronger. I bet you do, baby. I bet you do. My boy Neil is in the house. Neil, I have a story to tell. Another one of my brothers that has his own YouTube channel. Check his stuff out right now. He's doing some transitional stuff, but I think you still like his content. Go over there and check him out. Right?
No doubt. No doubt.
He likes to keep it like me a little lighthearted. Go ahead and check his channel out. He got so much to do on his channel. Okay, and we rock together. Much support. I talk to his brother in my spare time. All right. So Wanda's saying hi. Everybody's saying hi. Mr. Gigi said, I just finished part of a Heineken beer. Yeah, man. You know what? I'm actually moving on Friday. So I just grabbed some beers the other day, man. I'm just trying to keep it light, you know what I mean? So let's get back to these questions, man. I don't want to hold your time. I know you want to get to the gym and everything like that. So something that we had hit on earlier, and I want to make sure that we get to this, because you talked about the philosophy being understanding that looks come into play. You realize that money and status has something to do with it. So if you are a guy that maybe don't have the looks and stuff like that, maybe you have a little money, but you don't have enough money yet, and maybe you built on status. Now you talked about P2P. Is that guy have to do that? So tell us what P2P is, and does that guy who don't have those three things, does he have to resort to that until he can build those things up? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so pay to play is, guys engaging into sex tourism, prostitutes, paying them women for sex. That's what pay to play is. Um, you know, when guys do that, they still have to have the understanding that, look, this is not my girlfriend. I'm paying her to perform an act, and at the end of the day, she's leaving after the act is done. So if you understand your value as a man from a look standpoint, and do pay to play to get your sexual desires fulfilled, that's okay. The problem is when you predicate your whole life towards that, okay, and not continue to self-improve. That's the problem that I have with pay to play. So for example, there's a lot of guys that monger, okay, and they'll fly overseas. However, they're behind on bills or they don't take care of their health, and that's where the addiction can come with pay to play.
Okay. Do you feel that do you think that there's some pushback from pay to play? I mean, like, there is a stigma that's a society that it shouldn't be, but there's a stigma with some people that says, oh, you paying for it or this, that, and the third. Isn't there like a negative connotation that black pillars may get that believe in P2P from other people? I mean,
Yeah,
like
there
shouldn't
definitely is.
people allow those relations to happen organically instead of going to pay for them?
Right. There's, negative stigmas to it. However, I feel that if a man is not fulfilling his sexual need, he becomes really bitter and more self destruction from within. And I don't think that's very healthy. Um, so when guys are ashamed to do pay to play, it's kind of like, okay, well, he's done everything. He's listened to these red pillars. He's listened to these dating coaches. He's paid for all these products. He's paid for these dating services. And he realizes that, hey, Chad and Tyrone, they can just go into a room and the girl takes him by the hand and he's walking out with her within 5 minutes. So to me, there shouldn't be any bashing because pay to play has always existed since the beginning of time.
That's a fair question. What they say, pay to play is the oldest profession, right? Ain't that what they
Right,
say?
right. Absolutely, absolutely.
Is the oldest currency?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Listen, man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Here's the thing. Like, I hear that. There's something you said that I want to touch on real quick. You talked
Hmm.
about if men don't necessarily have that release, don't have that sexual release from being with a woman, this, that, and the third, to become angry, to become bitter, nihilistic, all these different things. Do you think, all right, so I don't know if you know this, but the 30% of young adults haven't had relations yet. They might not be missing it, but if you look at the Tinder results of recently, there are a lot of men that have gone more than a year without any type of relations at all. So do you think that we see that in society, and how? See like the negative effects of that in society, and how, if you think we do?
Right, and that's why it's important. As we go back to the topic, that's why men need to get their passports. That's part of the reason why men need to get their passports. Um, we can all admit here in the West, there's a sexual inflation, okay? And I think that's largely due to feminism and largely due to social media. So these women have access to men everywhere, and these women can live a lifestyle very similar to men, where they can be pumped and dumped, ride the CC, the cock carousel, and that's totally okay. But yet they're not going to settle down with the man that can provide her the resources and make her last long term. So a lot of those guys that don't meet the looks threshold for attraction, you're automatically disqualified. And that's why for men to have access to women in any type of relationship, sexual, long-term, short-term, you got to get your passport.
Okay, we'll get into that in a little bit. We gonna get up into that, okay? We gonna get up in there tonight. We getting all up in there, okay?
Okay. All right.
We about to. We is seriously about to do that, okay?
Right.
So,
right.
let me get back to this chat, man. The chat is live tonight. Mr. Gigi says, I agree with your analogy on pay to play. So guy and get easily blinded by female nature and her beauty rather than looking at himself as the main priority. I'm going to say and react to that and say that I think it is a problem. I think when men put the priority on women, solely on women, and what they can get, we know what I'm talking about. Vice,
Right.
working on themselves and bettering themselves, then you start to see behaviors in this society. I think that's why you have some of these dudes going out doing some of the stuff that they're doing. You start seeing people paying for stuff that they shouldn't even pay for, right? You start to see them find anything because their life is focused in on what a woman is going to do for them, okay?
Right.
There's a buddy of mine who, let's just say he's one of those guys, QB, that you would work with, right?
Right.
And I'm trying to work with this dude. I've been working with this dude probably for about a year, okay? And he gets so fixated on trying to find somebody to love him instead of doing the internal work to at least understand some of the philosophies that you're talking about. Now, before we get into the passport aspect of it, what do you think about guys like that and what they can do in the meantime to better themselves and get them out of that situation, that cycle of, I need somebody to love me?
Right. Well,
because it sounds to me when I hear a dude say that, like, listen, everybody wants love. But when dudes start talking about it the way I'm starting to hear it, it almost sounds like a woman talking.
Right. Well, first off, female validation has no value for a man. So you have to love yourself and be content of loving yourself, because we know, again, when it comes to female nature, it is what it is. You know, if you're not doing something for her, she will leave you at any given notice. So to have that desire that your friend has, his mindset has to change. And the way that mindset has to change is, you know, you have to understand, and sometimes it's experience, you know, because when I tell guys, okay, you want to believe in game, that's great, I'm not going to push you. But when you've been rejected so many times, when you go to 10 countries, okay, even third world countries, and you still cannot attract a girl without opening up your wallet, that's not me telling you that. That's the evidence. That's the facts. All right. But if you want to continue to do that, that's your choice.
Right.
Especially if you know, are self-aware and you know, the knowledge has been told to you, you're just ignorant in your beliefs. So his beliefs has to change if he wants better results.
Absolutely. And you know, that's the thing too. It's like, again, I know the looks part. You talked about the attraction, but there's also attraction. Would you agree with this? Isn't there also attraction the way a man carries himself, right? Like, a man that carries himself well could be a 5 but appear to be a 6, or vice versa, or a dude that's a 6 that carries himself well could be perceived as a 7. Part of that is the like you talked about, the social intelligence. Do you think that raises the quotient to be able to help regular men, or help dudes maybe get a half a point, if you want to call it a number, to get a half a point or so,
Right.
just because of that?
Right.
And I'm not talking about game. I'm not talking about
Right.
manipulative game. I'm
Right.
saying person can see you from a distance and you carry yourself in such a way that you just it's a temporary look of I have a status, like you talked about it.
Right. Well, I think that is pretty much based on experience, in terms of your personality. But again, looks opens the door to personality. So if you meet a girl, she's attracted to you, and you tell her a joke, she's still gonna laugh. But the other guy that goes up to her that she's probably not attracted to her, he tells her the joke, she probably won't laugh. You know, so you still have to meet that threshold to showcase your personality. And then from there, it's pretty much, hey, as long as I don't do anything creepy or something that's just outright weird, it's already in the bag from the get go. And that's from the black pill lens when it comes to attraction.
Okay. Let me get to these comments. We got to catch up a little bit. James Smith says, just in case of national emergency, we can bounce, talk about getting those passports, have your money ready, have everything right. I hear you, James. And then James also says, truth, bros. Thank you very much. Whatever. I know QB agrees with that. Anthony says, attraction is nowhere as important when you travel to other countries. I've traveled South America and Asia and Europe. Confidence is attractive over looks. Having purpose is what women choose. Real quick, what do you think about that?
Right. Well, confidence comes from success. So when you're successful and experienced with women, you're automatically going to have self confidence. If I go somewhere, anywhere, I'm confident enough based on my experience that I can meet an attractive girl and she can reciprocate that attraction. Now, for other guys that don't have that experience, they can be confident all they want, but it's really courage. They have courage to want to go out and quote unquote try to game a girl. But again, if you've been rejected or you haven't had success, you're not going to have that type of confidence. So,
okay, well, let's get back to these. Okay, so Mr. Gigi says most of us passport traveling mgtows always ask the golden question to pick up artists and dating coaches with expensive courses. If traveling globally isn't the solution, then what is the solution? What do you think about that one?
right.
So let me jump in real quick. It seems he's saying that, like, you go to these dating coaches, you listen to what they tell you, right? So if going around to all these other these places that we talk about traveling to, being passport bros at, ain't enough, then what's the solution? What is it, that guy, that dude that needs the help, that's done everything he can? What does he do in this scenario to be able to see level of success? Is it pay to play?
Right. And to answer his question, because it's kind of a loaded question, I think travel maxing is the solution. So again, men are not entitled to women, and men are not entitled into a relationship with women. That's solely based on how attractive she finds you. That really opens the door. So again, if he cannot find that one, then yes, pay to play would be the solution. But again, it's having the mindset, understanding women, the behavior. That's the real solution. You know,
So
Because you have guys. One second. You have guys that they'll even go to the extreme of having female validation. Well, they will try to make a prostitute their girlfriend, and that's not the solution. So again, it goes back to mindset, understanding women behavior, understanding the dynamics between men and women, period.
And you know what? And it's funny, well, not funny, but on this channel, from its inception, right? I still talk about it in the beginning, I still talk about it now. The belief that we have here at the Simsational Gent is you've got to do the self-work, right? We talk about women all the time, needing to go to therapy, doing all this stuff. Some of you guys need to go to therapy too, right? Him and I kind of talked about a couple scenarios and stuff like that. That dude might need therapy. My friend may need to go talk to somebody, okay? You guys got to work on yourself too. I had to go, right? I had work to put in, and it was the best thing I did, all right? So we always talk about working on yourself, working on your purpose, right? There's a pimp that once said that a man's purpose is so important, so vital, that if he's on his purpose, there is no love or attention from a woman that he can get that will give him the validation that is purposeful in life. Anyway, I want to hit y'all up with that.
That was fire.
But I want to make sure that you guys know you've got to do the work. Okay.
That was a black pill bomb right there.
You gotta have the thing. But some of that work is part of that confidence, part of growing your wealth, growing your status, growing the things that QB talked about in order for you to be able to enjoy some of those things. And again, I guess pay to play might be the way to go for some dudes. Wanda says, did you fellas ever take consideration that men from other countries are aborting those women and coming to the U.S. for dating and marriage because of the same reasons? What do you think about that? Let me leave the question up.
Right. I don't think a lot of men and women coming to the U.S. for the same reasons of men escaping the Matrix. I think people coming to the U.S. is more desiring an opportunity financially to grow versus adapt more so into the social norms here in the West. Because again, our laws are completely different, completely harsh, completely one-sided as compared to other countries.
I want to say that I agree with that. Let me jump in. Let me put that question back up so I can see it. Right. The part that I would say, Wanda, to that is I agree with QB. The other thing I would add is guys that are escaping from the Matrix, right, is like he said, in those countries, men are still respected, but the problem is the wages are so low. Those guys got to do so much more in order to provide for their families. And women, hypergamy is everywhere, okay? A woman wants to know that a guy can provide security and provide for their family. A lot of those guys can't provide that life because the wage is so low. As if you go by what QB says about what women desire, then those men in those other countries wouldn't meet those thresholds. See what I'm saying? So when people geomax, is that what you call like guys that travel exclusively for to better their life than the Matrix or whatever? I want to make sure I got that term correct.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's pretty much what it means. That's a black pill term. Mm-hmm.
So we're on the same page about that. So guys will geomax because they have. Here's the thing: most guys that can travel and leave the States and keep traveling, or do what I do, I can stay out indefinitely, right? There's some level of success there. There's some level of being able to save money. There's some level of being able to have money. There's some level of I've had money. So you're talking about guys that have already experienced some level of success going out there and looking like more like a provider. The guys escaping that place, they're still trying to come up. And hypergamy wins. What do you think about what I just said?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Guys escaping, the West, they're doing it for the betterment of their life and their purpose. I don't encourage guys to just solely geomax and escape from West to have access for women. You have to love the culture. You got to love to speak the language. You have to, love the surroundings. You got to love other things to do that are not related to women. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And listen, when I talk about here about purpose and working on yourself, the working on yourself part is a lot of stuff, right? It's the physically working on yourself so you feel better, you're healthier, you're able to do more, the mental aspect of it, right? The getting out and doing stuff. I used to put a clip in the beginning of this channel where you saw me in Hawaii hiking waterfalls, jumping off of cliffs, all kind of stuff, right? And
Right.
that was already baked into the plan of, man, I got to get out of here. There's so much more to this life
Hmm.
than who's in my life. You know what I mean? So you bring up a great point on that. Now, Wanda also says my hubby and his friends are from other countries and traveled extensively. They have the same identical concerns with foreign women and feel completely opposite. Wanda, correct me if I'm wrong. Is your hubby not from like Africa or something like that? Isn't he from Africa? Because if you listen to like O'Shea and all like that, some of the issues. I'm not saying he didn't see other things, other places, but I'm saying that there are some concerns about men in Africa as African women, depends on the country, are starting to get westernized as well. They're starting to get baked into modern day feminism and that thought. So let me know. But I'm just saying that that's starting to happen in Africa, and I know that would affect how he looks at women leaving the country as well. What do you think about that?
No, I totally agree on that. Again, that country, that environment, the law system, the family court system, that plays a huge role. And women, they adapt to their environment, and that's why I think it's very important that men don't have hatred towards women. And a lot of mgtows, they do, and a lot of mgtows, they were sent their own way. They say that, oh, I'm going away from women, I'm going my own way. No, you were sent your own way, you know? And you need to accept reality for what it is and not be bitter about it.
Yo.
Right, right,
So
right.
listen, I love you said they would sit their own way. Listen, man.
So, like, for example, okay, like I got to bring up
I've
the
heard the
story.
arguments. I don't want to get into the big towel, the red pill. We've already touched on that. I want to
Right.
make sure we get into this next subject. But let me catch the
I
rest
just
of
want to
it.
tell this
Right.
quick story really quick.
She says, I agree that those women may not be concentrated on appearance so much. However, financial status is very much the most important factor in them dating men from the US. You're viewed as a meal ticket. To that, Wanda, I'm going to say, so you're viewed as a meal ticket here. The problem is in the States is that if you providing um, if you provide a chicken dinner, you're not providing the dinner at the most fanciest restaurant in town, even though you can afford to pay for meals, you're not viewed as anything. If you don't
Right.
have the status or the money, as QB talked about,
Right.
here the bar is set higher. Women who, if you had to be fair, average women think they deserve dudes that are making six figures, that are making close to $250,000. So it's what QB talked about too. It's like, yo, the family court system, the unrealistic expectations, right? So the difference is there's no unrealistic expectation there. You know what the expectation you're getting. And we're going to get into that part of the conversation, talking about traveling to other countries, et cetera, because I think we're starting to open that can up. You know what I mean? We need to get up in there soon.
Right.
Okay,
And
I'll
just
let
to
you
add,
comment on what she said. Oh, wait, go ahead.
yeah, just to add what she was saying a little bit. The thing is, here you're going to be the meal ticket for the rest of of your life, whether you like her or not. So if she divorced you, child support, it's going to be nothing but meals that you're going to be taking to her. As to compare to overseas, you're not going to have that type of issue.
That's a good point. And we're gonna again, we keep saying we're gonna get in here. We're only at the first hour, so we're gonna get into the travel portion of it. Mr. G says, I agree. Global travel is the best solution. I always say, change your environment or body of water. Change your environment or body of water. If the fish are not biting in one body of water and you've tried everything, simply go to another body of water. Wanda says, those men aren't respected in all of those countries. Believe me, those women are becoming more Americanized. It's presented as coming to the U.S. for more opportunities, but there are hidden agendas. Wanda, nobody's talking about bringing women from other countries to the U.S. No Geomaxer, correct me if I'm wrong, but ain't no Geomaxer talking about bringing their women from some other damn country to be infected by modern women. I mean, you know what I mean?
Facts, big facts on that.
So this is the second live stream you talked about that, Wanda. But I'm telling you, the dudes that we talking about, okay? The dudes that we talking about are like, I'm not gonna bring my woman here. I got one of my boys, one of the most successful dudes that I've known, right? Went back to our home state, home city of New Orleans, and this dude running a business, a big business. And he got multiple girls, all right? And let me tell you, he ain't thinking about bringing them here. It ain't even a thought. We've had this conversation multiple times. The people that bring their girls here is just silly. Let me look at you in the camera and say, if you're thinking about bringing a woman from another country to the States, you are absolutely out of your goddamn mind. You're going to ruin your own life. You're going to ruin that woman's life. Right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, he's from Nigeria, West Africa. Yeah, ain't nobody talking about that. Yes, there are some women out there with hidden agendas. And I think that QB will agree, you still got to vet women just like you would in the States. You can't just go there and go there and say, oh, I found me the most beautiful woman. You have to vet women there just like we do here or anywhere around the world. You have to vet everybody. You have to vet your friends. So this is not something common, but at the same time, you're not bringing her back to the States. You think about that.
Right. No, I totally agree. Again, that's where men have to understand that female behavior is universal. So, a girl that's a whore in one country is going to be the same thing in another. A girl that's raised well by her father, those principles are going to apply in another country as well. So men has to have that understanding, that mindset when it comes to female behavior and female nature, period.
Okay. I like that. Mr. Gigi says, not all mgtows go away from women. Now, it's those who haven't found a solution. We have multiple and huge red pill mgtow travel groups on Facebook where thousands of guys be happy traveling abroad. I'm going to say this, like I told you earlier, QB, what I told you earlier was this. I said that I watched this dude who was mgtow that said he had girlfriends in other countries. He talked about his girls. He talked about having a good time. He talked about being in these groups, doing things, whatever, right? He wasn't an incel. He was just, hey, I'm not basing my life off of having a woman. Isn't it the same thing as a black pill man?
Oh, absolutely. You have to have happiness from within, and you have to be humble as a man. And again, that's expressed to not validating women, whether you're an attractive dude or not. So that's very, 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 very important.
Yep. Let me get to the super chat real quick. Drees TV with the $2 super chat. Matter of fact, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for contributing. Every dollar counts to going right back into the channel because I don't need it. I put it right back into making this channel better. So thank you very much. Okay. He says, what's happening?
What up, Jerice?
Well, what was happening about the time you gave that super chat is you have challenging perspectives. And that's what we want here. We need to be able to flush things out. Me and QB talked about earlier about having good perspectives. We agree, we agree. If we don't, we don't, right? I still disagree with them about the game thing. Unless, here's where I agree with them. If game is manipulative, I disagree with it. But to me, game is just like, you know, hey, now where we might agree on the game thing is he would say, well, you have social intelligence to be able to say how to, you know, talk your game. So I don't, you know what I mean? It's all a mix. It's all depending on the way you want to say it.
Right,
So
but let me give
I
one.
want to make sure I emphasize this. I keep forgetting this, but I want to emphasize this.
Okay.
No matter what you think about this channel and the way I talk about certain topics or issues, I think it's important, and QB said this multiple times, but I want to make sure this is understood about this channel. I am about men improving themselves and walking a purpose to live their best life. If there's good women there that's doing what they're supposed to do, I fully support and back them. Like QB said, let me point that way. It's not about hating women. Because if you start to get to the point you're bitter and you hate women, you lost the game. You've already lost. You've lost as a human being, period, off top. You've lost. If you hate women and you're bitter about women, you've lost. Here on the Simsational Gent, we highlight women's behaviors so that the men that need to understand can adjust, learn those social cues, learn the things that people that have the knowledge are talking about so they can live their best lives. What do you think about that?
No, that's very true. That's very true. You know, again, it's taking the knowledge and the information and apply it to your life and move in the direction that you feel benefits you, period.
Period, off top. Man, MZG, he said, Jen, are you in Mexico? Heck yeah, I'm in Mexico, bro. I'm in PDC right now, living my best life. Make sure y'all go check this brother out. I saw, brother, let me know in the chat, but don't you also do some Fiverr work? Like I saw some of your Fiverr work. I don't know why I was on Fiverr. I just said, let me check something out on Fiverr. I think I saw you on Fiverr. And I think you do some editing work, and I started to do some good work. So let me know down in the chat so I can shout that out so that people can go check you out on Fiverr for your video editing work and stuff like that, okay? Let me know, brother. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Again, let me give a shout out to Drees TV, again, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. We got Just Being Sierra in here. Hello. Hey, everyone. Hey, host. Thank you very much, baby, for being up in here. We are having a conversation, a good conversation that I hope that we can all learn from, get different perspectives and stuff like that. Drees TV says, I feel like if you're not around a woman to vet them properly, you can have all the game you want. You still lose, whether it's a girl around the corner or a girl around the world. What do you think about that one?
Yeah. Again, you have to understand the woman as a person as well as her past. So, of course, you don't give a girl that you know that slept with millions and millions of guys peripheral treatment compared to a girl that has been wholesomely raised by her father. You don't do that, you know, and that's part of vetting them out. But of course, you know, the temptation of attraction, you know, most guys, they won't care. You know, she's physically attractive, no matter how many dudes she's been with, I'm going to give her the utmost treatment and resources to her. And that's where you have to vent them out.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. I got the sound effects. I worked on that like a couple weeks ago, bro. Let's see what else happened in the chat. Mr. Gigi says we highly don't recommend to bring their women from another country. Yeah, ain't nobody saying it. Ain't nobody saying that. Ain't nobody said that. None of us. I don't care what you call yourself, mgtow, red pill, black pill, blue pill. Well, maybe the blue pillars. Matter of fact, it's the goddamn blue pillars that's messing it up. But the point is, every other one, we might disagree, right? But we agree on one thing. I am not bringing one of them back here. Hell no. Hell no. Why would you plug them into the matrix? That's asinine. Anyway, let me finish this. There's too many bad testimonials of guys failing. We recommend men get their cash flow in the U.S. and move to her country. And listen, I think that's what partly what you were talking about in getting your resources together. That's what people do for long-term retirement plans. I mean, I'm living my retirement plan right now. You know what I mean? I'm planning this out for 7 years. And so, and I don't do this for women. I do this for my peace. So that's why it's important. I think what me and QB will agree on is why it's so important to do the work. You know what I mean? So that you find the peace. That way, when those wrong people that Wanda talked about come across, I see them a mile away. Right? It got to the point where, now maybe it's social cues, QB, maybe it's social cues. Maybe I've just been doing this for a long time.
Right.
But the women that's like my exes, I see them a mile away. Matter of fact, it got to the point I knew I was on the right track when those women they look at me and they like, it's almost like they feel judged when they see me. They don't even come my way. What do you think about that?
No, I pretty much have the same experience as well, where they didn't realize your self-worth and what you can provide for them long term. And that's part of the environment that they're in. And so now that they see that you elevated in life financially, you still maintain what you have physically. Yeah, they see you from a mile away. You know what I mean? Where they're way back, in the haystack, with somebody that they probably really don't want to be with, and you out here, obviously in Cancun, Playa del Carmen, living the best of your life. So I can say the same thing for me as well.
Yeah. And to me, that's a very powerful place to be, because it keeps the wrong people away from you. And you also have the foresight to vet people a little bit better because you have the experience, right? You have the experience, you're at a good place, and there's nothing more, gents, there's nothing more important than your peace. It just isn't. I don't care if you like women or don't, whatever, it ain't nothing more important than your peace. Once you have that, it's easy to vet a woman, because you can, as soon as she says something that is a destructive trait, you like, bye. Soon as you see it, you like, yo, you got to get up out of here. So you got to leave. You know what I mean? So I had that banner in a way, messed up my little skit there. Let's get back to the finish up the chat real quick. Self-made says, is this where I park my car? Maybe, I don't know. Are you gonna leave some money for the where you parked it at? I didn't see a super chat. What are we talking about here?
That's one of my subs. He's a cool bro. He's a cool bro. He's a cool bro.
No, I'm messing around. We have I like the comment. I thought it was funny. Dream TV says the pink pillars are messing it up. I never really considered pink pillars. I never even thought of that as a term, but is that people that got themselves dipped between red pill and blue pilling? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I think pink pill is women basically, it's a feminist pill, so women can live their best life, work like men, make money like men, and they don't have to depend on men. It's their own independence. But again, men and women were not equal, and unfortunately there's consequences when a woman has, you know, when a woman is not fulfilling her role as a woman, there's a consequence to that. So that's where the pink pillar is affecting them.
Funny you say that. There's a video I filmed while I was out today. I did a lot of walking today, y'all. I am not gonna lie. Your boy went to Walmart thinking I could find something. It wasn't there. And I said, okay, well, Home Depot will have it. When I went to go Google Home Depot, it was like I had to walk back toward my house and walk up the same distance where the Walmart was back the other way. And then I had to walk back to my house, and that was all before this live stream. So I'm a little tired when it comes to that. But let me say this. I filmed something for you guys on a little topic I want to discuss. And just to give y'all a little intro into that. A lot of women, I believe, are starting to lash out just like the men that they say they hate. I'm gonna say that again for the cheap seats. You have women starting to act like the very men that they supposedly hate, the misogyny that they supposedly are trying to work against. What do you think about that concept?
Yeah. So, again, it's they want to live their life independent. They have the mindset that they can marry late and that there'll always be a guy there waiting for them at the finish line. But unfortunately, it's the guy that they really don't want to be with. So that's the consequence that a lot of women suffer, and that's why they're misogynistic. And that's why it's important as a man that you don't be a beta bucks. And when you have the passport, um, you don't put yourself in that situation at all.
So Drees TV says pink pill is red pill talk, blue pill tendencies. What do you think?
Well, I thought we were talking about women here, from what I understand with the pink pill, but I think he's kind of getting that confused with the purple pill, and
Yes.
that's what the purple pill is. And to me, that's probably one of the most dangerous pills, because if you're aware of female nature and you're aware of the laws and the environment, but yet you still, put yourself in situations that can damage you long term, i.e., relationship, i.e., marriage, then you're purple pill, you know, and you have nothing but else to blame yourself being in that situation.
And that's purple pill, man. Purple pill do need to get themselves together, because I think it's dangerous. If you even put it in perspective where this whole pill talk came from, the Matrix. It was like Cypher, where Cypher was a red pill person who still wanted to be plugged back in the Matrix, who's operating as a red pill with the idea that still has his foot in the line as a blue pillar, right? Wanting to be back in the factory. And what did that lead to? That led to a lot of people being damaged by it. You're talking about, you have guys out there complaining to be red pillars, whatever. They purple pillars, and they hurting people. You know what I mean? Not living their truth. Let me get to the comments real quick. He says, pink pillar dudes that talk red thought would have blue tendencies. That's who's bringing women back. Mr. Gigi says, questions for you both. Why do North Americans typically assume that men are traveling globally just to bring women back to the Matrix, and not realizing that legal immigration is a long process. I'll let you take it first. What you think?
Right. Again, I don't think a lot of men are really doing that when they're geomaxers. They're not bringing women back to the matrix because they know the consequences. So the ones that are doing it, I mean, I feel bad for them because that's, you're missing the whole point here. You're missing the whole point of geomaxing. You're missing the whole point of, making your resources work for you in a country that's going to take away your resources, including the person that you settle down with.
Mm-hmm. Now, personally, for my part of the answer, I would say that, first of all, I agree. Men aren't just leaving for women. I think that's a misconception. I think that that's a bonus, right? It's kind of like, like I just found out that the ice cream I'm eating, also has free sprinkles and a cherry on top. You know what I mean? Like, you're there for the ice cream, but man, the sprinkles and the cherry make it a little bit better. You know what I mean? The other thing is about that. If a man was leaving for a woman, then most likely he's already gone through the process of being in the States, dealing with all the bull, seeing it. And if he's smart and he's leaving for that reason, then why would he bring her back? It's like you can't correct a problem in the same thing, in the same place, or the same situation that caused it in the first place. So by bringing her back to the States, it's only a matter of time. It's like having a glass of water and putting one drop of ink in it. Yeah, in a moment, it's not going to touch this part of the glass, but eventually, due to equilibrium, that drop of ink will touch every part of that glass. And that's exactly what will eventually happen to women that you bring back to the States. That's just my opinion. Even if they stay with a dude when they come back to the States, they can't help but be affected by the disease, which is Western culture right now. I'm just saying. Let me get to these. Drees says, there's a purple pill now? Yes, there's a purple pill. That's why I was kind of confused about the pink pill. So I'm like, isn't purple a combination of the two?
Right.
So, but the pink pill is a good one. I mean, that's an interesting talk about the feminist pill, right? The eminence pill, I guess. Hope I didn't demonetize myself. And then we got the Sand Van. Hey, TSG. Hey, Sand Van. How y'all doing tonight? Thank y'all for being here. Make sure to go check out this channel right here. Make sure you go check out Wanda's channel. I missed some friends of mine way back up here. Hold up. And I'm sorry about that. We have my friends from Brick Girls Go Stateside. Thank you very much. You have Lucy and her mom, Julie. They are really good friends of mine. Of course, they used to interview me on their channel. And it's because of them that I got the bravery to start doing my own interviews. Lovely channel. Make sure you go check them out. I'm going to come back down to the bottom there. We got the Sand Van. So this lovely couple right now, I don't know if they're still in Tasmania. I don't know if y'all are still there or not, but check out their adventures. There's some good stuff going on there. They're doing like van life out there, okay? And I used to do, I'm real heavy on, I used to want to do van life and tiny homes. I don't know what it is. Fascinating to me to just live by myself, live minimalist. That's kind of where I'm at. And then Mr. Gigi says, I have a video I created describing the purple pill man and how to determine if he is or is not. Check it out on my channel. The purple pill man and the blue pill man is the most risky out of all the pills. And I'm sorry, Mr. Gigi. Make sure you go check out Men's Daily Advice and Encouragement channel. This dude here has some real good topics, and he gonna give it to you straight, right? So, and that's the thing I appreciate you about, Mr. Gigi. Thank you so much. All right. So let's get into these other questions, man. We've kind of hit on some of this stuff. What got you into traveling?
Right. So I've pretty much lived the lifestyle in California, the American dream, and I hit at one point in my life like a financial hardship, and I just realized how everything just kind of changed for the worst. And I said to myself, female nature is for what it is. And experiencing another culture in another country really got me really motivated to travel. And that's why I started traveling. Did
Sorry
you get
about
me on
that.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My bad.
Right.
No, that's all good, baby.
Right.
Had to, I gotta
Toast.
refill
Right.
Gotta get some of the dog and hair bitch. But yeah, you were talking about how, yeah, man, like, listen, that's kind of one of the reasons why, like, I loved about Vegas, right? It's one of the few major cities that you can move to that the prices have risen because a lot of people in California are starting to move there and stuff like that. But it was one of the cheapest places you can go to, but still make enough money to be able to support yourself. And even that's about to change as the water is starting to dry up in Lake Mead and the Colorado River. So things are getting real dire over there and stuff like that. So what do you like most about traveling? Like, so you talked about your reason why. Why do you? What do you like most about it? And let's go there. What do you like most about it?
What I like most about traveling is having a different experience in a different country and experiencing that culture. That's what I really like most about traveling. And when you have that passport and you experience that lifestyle, it is really no coming back to wanting to be here in the Matrix at all. So that's what I really like most about traveling is the experience, meeting new people, going to destinations, excursions, the whole nine.
Since I've traveled outside the country and it's one perspective, but now actually having lived outside the country now for a little bit of time and you start meeting other people kind of have the same mindset. I just want to escape the matrix, tired of this bull, just want to have peace and stuff like that. Man, there's some really chill people. You know what I mean? Like you don't realize the amount of stress and stuff that they have.
Right.
Okay. Let me bring this up real quick. Sorry. Sam says traveling is the blue pill. Really? How do you say that? Let me know down in the comments. Why do you say traveling is the blue pill? I think nothing could be further from that, right? If you're traveling, you are not. Most people don't leave outside of a couple hundred miles, right? I don't know what that is in kilometers, right? But most people don't leave outside of a certain radius of where they're from or where they live at. So I would think traveling and doing something outside of yourself is totally red pill or, not blue pill, if you will. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think what he's probably saying it from a perspective, if you're solely traveling for women and seeking female validation, then yeah, traveling is blue pill. But if you understand how, female behavior and female dynamics and, the relationships between men and women, you don't travel solely just for that, So.
Right. And we talked about, I think we touched on that earlier. You know what I mean? Like, it's part of that work that you need to do. Really, I think before you really start doing it seriously, I think men need to get their passports and get out and just see it and just have their mind blown, right? Have that moment that Morpheus moment, I call it, right? Where he's taking Neo through the journey and showing him, hey, man is just a goddamn battery, and that whole revelation, let it blow your mind. But then when you go back home, before you go to your next destination, you know now, you've seen different. You realize you have to move a different way. Don't bring that attitude and everything where you're going. You're there, you're gonna respect the culture, you're gonna have a good time. And again, if you come across women in your process, that's a bonus. It's just sprinkles in the cherry. You know what I mean? You should be ready to go because you've done the work, or you're working on yourself to be the best version of yourself. But don't go out there being broken. I need to find a woman, so I'm leaving. I mean, some dudes are gonna do that, but you're gonna have a better time if you know who you are before you leave. You agree or disagree?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Definitely. Definitely
So
agree.
we kind of hit on it. Does it make a man weak? Does it make a man SWV, weak in knees, all right? If he decides he's gonna go travel just for women, what do you think?
No, I don't think it makes him weak as long as he understands, again, his worth and female nature and female behavior. Again, it's having that relief, is having that access. And here we witnessed it, unfortunately, with a lot of men that are, I can't say the word, but are, ink cells. It's really unfortunate. And so to have that stress reliever, you need to travel, and that's okay. And again, I promote, if you're going to engage in that lifestyle, don't let that be your sole purpose.
Totally agree with that one. Let me get back to the comments real quick. We're gonna speed this along because I know you said you gotta get to the gym. Oops, got my pills mixed up. Travel is released from the matrix. Absolutely. I was like, that don't even make sense. You guys, I was like, you guys are doing things that people will never do in their lifetime. You know what I mean? But I appreciate the correction. Thank you very much, brother. All right. So let's get through these questions, man, because I do have some other questions I'm very interested in. Okay. What can men, I want to talk now, because listen, I don't think it's a bad thing, or I don't look down on men for wondering about the women in other countries, right? Like, why wouldn't I? Wouldn't even fault the women that worry about dudes in other countries, because nobody ever says anything to them. So I'm not going to disparage men for it either, unless you're not willing to do any work on yourself and you think, as you stated earlier, you just deserve to have women. You know what I mean? Like, that's when I got to hit you. But what can man expect if he's going there, good intentions, wanting to do some work, or eventually will do some work? What can he expect if he goes to these other countries for some of the women that he meets? Now, we talked about earlier women that have bad intentions. We know that no matter where you go, there are going to be women that are going to try to take advantage, whatever. It's just a part of human nature. But what's some of the good things that a man can expect from women in other countries?
Right. So what he can expect is different treatment compared to here in the United States or in Western countries. He can expect his goals and what he desires in a woman met in these foreign countries. And so, again, it goes back to your purpose of traveling to these countries. And if you're a guy that has these expectations, terms as long term, they can be met. However, you have to be realistic on your purpose and achieving those outcomes.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something that I thought about. Here, it's not like hookup culture. It's like the locals, if you start talking to a local girl, she necessarily might not expect marriage of you, but she's going, if you see her a couple times, she's going to expect you to date. You know what I mean? Like a good woman, if you're looking for, if you find a woman and she's anywhere decent, it's not about the hookup thing. Maybe you go on some dates, you have a good time. Can you? Yes, probably. Right? But at the same time, these women expect that, you know, to be apart with you, right? I'm not saying, again, they may not require marriage right away, realizing you're going to leave, but there's some level of hey, I can say commitment, but I guess not expecting you necessarily just to run off. You know what I mean? Like to keep in touch. A lot of my buddies that have traveled, they still keep in touch with the women that they've talked to and stuff. What's been your experience with that?
Yeah, for me, it's been positive, and it also kind of depends on the country as well, and that's why I have to kind of throw it back on a black pill perspective on looks, because if you're going to a country, and I'm going to use Mexico as an example, thinking that you're going to get with, you know, a girl that's 7.5 or higher, and you're a guy that's over 300 pounds, this is not going to happen. Now, Philippines, Thailand, where black men are maybe a little bit more desirable, you might land something that you normally wouldn't land, you know, in the United States. So again, you know, the country plays a role on it, but the expectations have to come from you.
Yep. So another question. Why do you think Western women get mad at men for dating foreign women or wanting to date foreign women when these are the same dudes that they wouldn't even give the time of day of normally? Like, isn't that hypocrisy? Isn't that a double standard?
Yeah, that's a double standard. But again, when guys are having their passports and they're less desirable men that are seeking relationships with foreign women, it kind of takes away from the beta bucks guy here in the United States. Because if he can be a provider, find the woman that is going to supplement him, there's no point of having to beta bucks here in the States or in a Western country. So that's where women, I can see women get bitter about, you know, guys that are less attractive going to foreign countries.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. Can men who don't necessarily fit the mold that these modern women would like, is it possible for them to have, and I think we talked about this earlier, but I'm just asking the question.
Right.
How is it possible that they can have, and I think you were just talking about it, but how is it that they're rejected in the other country, but they have more luck, or they're rejected in the States, but they have more luck in these other countries?
Right. Well, again, the environment is different, like how you mentioned, maybe less hookup culture. Maybe there's more of an emphasis for women to get married in their 20s as compared to the United States. So if men are desiring to procreate and have a family, and you go into those environments, you will have a most likely chance to achieve that goal. Of course, if the woman finds you attractive and you have the resources to support her. That's where guys can have that desire fulfilled, as in compare here into the United States or in a Western country.
Right. All right, man. I know you got limited time, so I'm gonna go ahead and if you guys want to come on to the chat and ask QB any questions, or ask me any questions, or you know, have a quick comment. Again, keep your comments brief and stuff like that. We'll bring you up, have you ask your question and stuff like that, and then we'll get to it. And then QB and myself will answer that question. So what I'm going to do is Yeah, sure. I just read your thing.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna put a link down in the chat to the StreamYard because we are limited on time. I'm only gonna take one question or one comment from you guys. If you want to come onto the channel and you want to say something, speak your piece, ask questions, whatever, hit that link. I'll bring you up, ask a question, we'll give you the answer, and we'll bring you back down again. Okay. So, so since you got, while we're waiting for people to decide, let me get to the Wanda. She said, I agree. Men can expect better treatment in submissive women in other countries. They can truly even obtain peace, especially that you have no plans to bring these women back to the States. And that's, Wanda, that's really all everybody's been saying. There are men who will bring women back to the States. They will, because they love those women. I don't discount the fact that they don't feel like they love them. They just feel like there's no option for them necessarily to do what they do and not bring her back, right? They don't have the option to live in the country, so they might bring her back. Whereas Geomaxers might say, I'm okay with, I might have to go back to the States to take care of stuff, but I will not bring that woman back here. What do you think about that one?
Absolutely. And to add on that, not all men are seeking marriage and relationships when they travel to these countries. There are men that want to be bachelors. There are men that are fine, doing the whole sugar daddy thing, and then there are men that want to marry and procreate. So it all depends on what the guy wants. But when you geomax, you have the options of all three.
Yeah, yeah. The only problem is you start doing that stuff, you get them looks.
Right, right, right.
You start getting them looks, baby.
Right.
What was I about to say to you? Listen, I have a serious question.
Okay.
I need this answered. Okay,
Right.
there seems to be, from what I saw, some beef. We talked about it earlier, but I got a question. Seems to be some beef between mgtow and black pillars. So I have a question, serious question.
Okay.
Were mgtows, people that are mgtow, were they not fed breast milk as a kid?
Wow. Again, I think it goes back to the bitterment that they have towards women, there are guys that have been raised and say, hey, if you act this way and you be nice, you be respectful, you can get the women that they desire. And they've done those things, and unfortunately it doesn't happen for them. They're bitter. And as I talked about earlier in the show, there are a lot of men that are being sent their own way, and they're looking for a solution, and it's been taking forever to have that solution, and living the passport life is the solution, and you have so many options with that. So yeah, they've been breastfed, and unfortunately, as they matured, the milk is dried, and so you got to go somewhere where the milk is warm and you're Gucci.
I told you, hey, y'all don't know about this, right? Y'all have no clue. But I told QB, I said I had one question that wasn't gonna be on the thing I told you I was gonna say, like the question I was gonna ask. And what you thought about that one, bro?
Hey, I've heard it all, so I'm not surprised. I think more people get surprised of my answers and what do you mean? How does that work? So it's all good, man. But that was a loaded one. That was like, huh? What?
But I told you it was gonna be that way though.
Right.
I told you.
You did.
All right, real quick. So Life of a positive mother. Hey, I enjoyed the live, but I'm going to head out and put my children to sleep. I hope you have a good night. Thank you very much. Precious, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel as always. And also, congrats on your baby girl. And I'm going to holler at you again. And then, Brick Girls Go Stateside. Sorry, I have a dash. We have a family coming in for dinner. I enjoy listening. Bye, everybody. Thank you very much. Make sure you go check out Brick Girls Go Stateside. They have a lovely channel. Lucy and her mom, Julie, do a great job. They've inspired me. Iron sharpens iron. They're the reason why that I'm even to this point right now. Part of them. Thank you. Hope you guys have a great dinner. And I appreciate y'all very much. Wanda says good night. T-Mac in the house. QB, this is one of my dudes that come through. I need to out some miles on my passport, bro. That's what we hollering about tonight. Okay? That's what we hollering about tonight. Let me get to another question for my guest while I still have him. We have a few minutes left before he's going to have to run, and I agree with that. Let's talk about some clubs. You know, the dudes want to know about the clubs, all right? They want to know about that club love.
Right.
Okay? You want to Geomax. You want to talk about some of the hottest stuff going on out there. Now, if you guys don't know about the clubs in Mexico, make sure you check out QB's channel. For sure, make sure y'all check out Simsational Gent. Hit that like button if you haven't done it. Subscribe, because I'm telling you, I'm coming with that hotness, bro. Coming with that heat. But let me know what you think about the party scene out here, and as compared to maybe the States. Now, we talked about before, right, in our previous chat, we talked about Vegas, different places like that.
Right.
What have you seen? What have you noticed?
Right. The club scene is definitely lit in most places in Mexico, especially Cancun, Playa del Carmen, currently where you're at. It is very less expensive compared to other places. Great ratio of women, great vibes. So if you're a guy that has been successful partying, and what I mean successful, meeting women, and you're able to do your thing and just run out on the fly, I highly, highly suggest coming to Mexico, and you will repeat those results. If not, have a much better experience with money left in your pocket.
Hey, I told you I might have to come down to Cancun for a day, or for a couple of days. We might have to do it up, because for the price that, like, a fraction of the price to get like bottle service. I mean, like, you know what I mean? To me, it's still expensive for a bottle, because I was a bartender, so I know like the cost, whatever, right? But I'm saying, if you want to ball it up and have your little VIP, fractionally the price. The only reason I haven't done it is because I don't have a crew. I personally feel like this. When I was in the States, I would treat myself to a VIP experience once to twice a year. I would have money, would do it right, and I don't do it all. Like, people do this every weekend. That's a waste of money. It's a complete waste. You're wasting your money. But if you are in the States and you necessarily can't get out, give yourself a VIP treatment. I'm not gonna lie to you. It feels good. What do you think about that?
No, it absolutely does feel good, and it feels great when you got dudes pitching in. And I might be doing that VIP experience in Mexicali this Saturday. Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be hot as hell. It's gonna be like over 100. But that's all right. But we're talking popping bottles, $75 compared to $7,000. That's a huge difference. Okay.
Yes.
So I can be VIP up, get drunk on the Uber. Uber's what, 5-10 minute ride over to the club. The Uber fare is $3, not 30. You know what I'm saying? Not 60. So again, that passport lifestyle, no matter what type of guy you are, it's gonna fit your mold. It's gonna fit your lane. And yeah, the nightlife. Oh man, it's When we do the part 2, we'll touch on that, bro.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I haven't announced that, but we were talking behind the scenes. Like, yo, we're gonna do a part 2. There's just so much to talk about. Matter of fact, there's a lot of questions we can get to. I almost don't want to get to them, so we can talk more about it there. But something I'm thinking about. This is my last couple of days in this apartment. I have a lot of stuff to do because I just have a lot to do. So, but I'm actually, bro, check this out. Since let's just shoot the breeze real quick. So I'm leaving my condo, apartment, whatever you want to call it, and I'm moving to a hotel. The hotel, bro, is on 5th Street. Now, if you guys want to know what 5th Street is, I just did a video on 5th Street that is blowing up. It's hotter than 5th Street on a summer day, bro. I'm telling you right now, that video is blowing up and doing amazing. Y'all want to know? 5th Street is like Bourbon Street cleaner. It's like going down Gaslamp District. It's like being on Fremont Street in Vegas, right? I'm talking about like amazing. So whether you're here in PDC or you go to Cancun, it's the same way, right? I'm talking about hot. I am literally thinking, since I'm down on 5th Street and it's just a slight stumble back to the hotel, this week for y'all, I have not gone into any of the touristy clubs. I like to hang out in the local spot. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I love hanging out in the local spots. That is my joint, bro. I have more fun in there than I do in those loud-ass tourist spots. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And the advantage is, when people click on my channel and see some of the videos, going to the local spot and partying with the local people, they really, gravitate towards you. And I can't remember relentless times of the locals, hey, come have shots with us. Hey, come to our table. Hey, what are you doing afterwards? Hey, let's party again. Hey, come to this event. So the preferential treatment is a lot better. But again, kind of like how we talked about off camera, I'm passable for a basketball player. They think, oh, you play for the local team or something like that. So
I call me Steph Curry. It's like, hey, Steph Curry. I was like, no, it's the way.
Right. Exactly. So I can't guarantee that for the next guy, but for myself, yeah, it's been great. It's been tons of fun.
Yeah. I got a question for you. And this is from Randy Page. What country has the most marriage-ready women? Sorry, let me jump in there real quick. It was actually, I haven't been to Europe yet. And so there was a video where this channel breaks down the most marriage-ready countries. And it shocked me with some of the answers. But it's a lot of the Baltic type places and stuff in there, right? Like I say Baltic, but like Slavic areas and stuff like that, right? That have some of the most marriage-ready women, okay? And you're talking about places where the women outnumber the men significantly, okay? And they have certain philosophies about they are traditional women. What do you think?
Yeah, and I would probably emphasize maybe the Muslim countries as well. And I think that's very important for guys to receive that information, because there are a lot of men that they want to marry, they want to settle down, and they want a wife that is pure and has been raised well. But again, that's only half the battle. You're going to have to live there permanently. So until you're ready to make that move, don't have that unrealistic expectation.
Right. Now, from the people I know that have gone out, right, obviously you could probably go to Thailand, you could probably go to the Philippines, all this stuff. However, you got to be careful with the Philippines. You got to be careful with Thailand, right? You got to vet people. I also have a good buddy of mine who married a Filipino woman, and he had her in the States. She divorced him and ran off. She got her a little money, and she lives pretty good over there in the Philippines. And so now, to be fair, At that point in time in his life, he wasn't a pretty smart dude. But I gotta say, it's one of the dudes I'm most proud of. This dude he went from low education, probably barely high school, to this dude has a master's degree now. And just the way he carries himself is so different. I want to say, if you watching it ever, talking about you, congratulations, man. You made me so proud, bro. You come a long way. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So T Max says, facts, bro. More for your money, and they love the brothers. What do you think about that, man? They love the brothers from your travels, your time and stuff. What do you guys say about that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for the most part, in Mexico, I've received pretty much A1 treatment, and most of my bros have as well that like Mexico. So, I show it on the channel, and more content is coming in regards to that, and hopefully that motivates other guys to travel as well and get the same experience, if not better.
Yep. And then Mr. Gigi says, I heard the local spot is a must to go to. Bro, and I'm talking about like the place I went to, the first place I went to was literally like a little hole in the wall bar on 5th Street. It's real tiny. And I went up in there and hung out with the people and just, man, it was such a rich experience. Here's the other thing. I'm gonna give y'all game before I put this video out one day. I ain't gonna put it out yet. I'm gonna wait till I leave, right? But I'm gonna put y'all on game. One of the things you need to know if you come to a place like Mexico, South America, and stuff like that, right? If you like Hispanic or Spanish culture or Latin culture, work on your Espanol, okay? Work on that, right?
Es muy importante.
You can come here and not necessarily need. There are people that travel all the time and don't have it. But I put this on everything. Your time will be completely different if you can communicate with the people, because you've been able to talk to them. They kind of go, huh. And even if you speak Spanglish like I do, we be having full conversations. I don't even use my translator when I'm out. I can get across what I'm saying. They kind of know what I'm talking about. And bro, my mom, right? And I'm not even talking about talking to women. I'm saying just talking to everybody. Just my richness of experience is better because I can communicate with the people. And you know what? They're good people, man. They're good people. Don't let them lie to you in the States and say the people here are bad people, man. They're just trying to make it, from my experience. Yes, are they bad people? There's bad people everywhere, right? But I'm telling you, I had a much richer experience from learning the language. Take the time, learn the language. What'd you think, QB?
Yeah, absolutely. I stress that a lot, and I'm still trying to learn the language each and every day, and that's going to make your experience 100% better. 100%. I don't care if you're getting girls or not getting girls, P2P, don't do P2P. Learn the language at least 20 minutes a day. And I'm guilty of not spending enough time on it, but I still know some stuff to get by and barely get by,
Right. So, listen, just because we talked about it here, my next community post, I'm going to screenshot how many days straight that I've done Spanish practice. Has it been perfect practices? No. But I haven't missed a day, right? Like you said, QB, one lesson, even if it's a short lesson a day. Doing a short lesson is better than letting time go by. You're like, oh, I haven't done it in months. I'm saying I have been doing this for 470 plus days. I don't know the exact amount, but I know it's over 460. It's like 470-ish. It might be almost 480. I will screenshot it and I'll put it in the community post just to let y'all know based on what we talked about here. And I'll link this video back for playback later. Just to let y'all know, gents, what we talked about here tonight. What you think about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Get that Espanol up.
Get that as Espanol. So the Savan says, what culture fascinates you the most? I'm going to go ahead and say I'm living in Mexico because Latin culture fascinates me the most. That's just me. I am interested in going, like for the winter, I think I'm going to be over in Thailand. And part of that for me is to go see my bro Richie Mack. Shout out to Zoom to Thailand. The other part is economic, right? I'm gonna stack some cheese while I'm there. This isn't about the women. This is about me living a peaceful life, but it's also about me building, right? It's about building a legacy. It's about building eventually my business. It's about building my wealth model. It's about leaving something behind to my kids. And that's all was written into my plan to do what I'm doing now. So don't get it twisted. This ain't about me and girls and stuff. I don't give two shits. I care about leaving something behind and having a good time while I'm doing it. What you think about the question? What do you think? What culture fascinates QB the most?
Right. So I'm still kind of green with the exception of going to Colombia, Guatemala, and the Bahamas. So, but so far I've been impressed with the Latin culture, and I have no regrets. I do plan on going to Argentina to go check that out in December. So I can fully answer that question at a later time, but so far the Latin culture has been lit, and I have no complaints.
Yep. Listen, I've been to all sides of Canada and here in Mexico. Again, I'll go to Thailand. I'm a newbie to this, I'll be honest with you. I did most of my traveling in the States because I wanted to be around my kids while I was in the military. So I forgo some of the opportunities that would allow me to travel overseas. But I did that on purpose because I wanted to see it and have my own time where I'm not rushed, where I can live in a place and not just visit. That was more important to me than visiting. But I've been to 40 states. I've lived in 7 of them. I've done 5 cross-country road trips. Every part of, I've been to Alaska twice. I lived in Hawaii. So the 40 states I've capped 10 states I haven't been to, don't have to go to. So I'll let you use your imagination. All right. So anyway, I know you got to go, bro. I know you got to go. Thank you for being here. What do you want to leave for the gents that's going to motivate them to live their best life? As I always like to say on this channel, I want you guys to live your best life. QB Passport Flexing is going to leave you guys with this word. What you got?
Yes, QB Passport Flexing, thank you for having me on the show. Sub to the channel, fire content coming on the way. Live your best life, put yourself in a winning position like a quarterback, read the defense, score touchdowns, and never look back. Blow them out the water. That's all I got to say.
Man, thank you for being here. We're going to have to bring you back on the show, bro, because apparently a lot of people love this conversation. And as you know, I still had a lot more questions for you. You know what I'm saying, bro? You know, we got a lot more to talk about. And hopefully we'll focus it for the gents. Like, we got into some serious topics and stuff tonight. I want to be a little bit more loose. I want it to be beneficial for the gents. I want it to be fun and engaging, and it will be. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later, man. All right, you have a good one.
No doubt.
All right. So, Snuggles got the eyeballs, always looking up in here. Up in here. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you, Snuggles. I appreciate it. Okay. T-Max says, yo, I just checked out the content QB. Yep. Hey, so I put a link in the chat. Go all the way up to the top. If you guys want to subscribe, make sure you subscribe to QB Passport Flexing. All right. So that brother right there got his own channel, whatever. You guys want to check it out. We're going to have more content. Again, he told you guys, he's newbie channel, but the stuff he's doing is the stuff that you guys are interested in. I hope you guys are interested in the stuff in his channel. I put out a video recently where I was talking about some of the topics that we talk about here on the Simsational Gent, but I did it while walking around here. If you guys haven't checked that video out, It was about a modern woman that flexed on her baby daddy that basically said she exposed him. Check that video out. If you guys like that content or style where I'm out and about showing you what I see while I'm talking about the content, let me know. I'll continue to do that style. So let me go through. And great video today at Gent. Thank you very much, GG. I'm gonna give you guys a shout out real quick because that's what I do at the end. Hold on. Well, one last thing. I just want to summarize what we talked about today. So if you guys are just, before you guys check out, one thing I want you to get from my discussion with QB was we talked about black pill, red pill, mgtow, right? All that stuff. We talked about the black pill philosophy. We talked about, QB talked about how men, absence of looks, need to get their money and their status up. That is the black pill philosophy. The other thing he said that if you don't have the looks to be able to do it, black pill do not have a problem with P2P, which is pay to play, all right? It's the oldest profession in the world, right? It's the first form of currency, if you will, okay? So we talked about that. The other thing we talked about was the treatment that you will get from women of other countries. We talked about the differences between women of other countries and that in the Western culture. We talked about what you can expect. The other thing that we talked about was experience traveling, what men can get from it, right? We also answered a lot of your questions and we engaged with a lot of your comments. Without you guys, I can't do this. Remember, we do this every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Today we went a little bit half an hour earlier because QB had time. But I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. I want to give a shout out to Mr. GG. Make sure you go check out his channel. I want to give a shout out to my boy T-Mac. Always support the channel. We got Snuggles, who always peeks in. Thank you for being here. We got the Sand Van. Make sure you go check out their channel. It's wonderful. They are travelers too. They are from Australia and they are right now in Tasmania, I believe, living their best life. And I love it. And you will too. So make sure you go check out the channel, like, subscribe to that channel. You're gonna love it. I promise you. Right? We got Randy Page who came in here off the top rope asking questions. Hey, ask questions about marriage ready. Some of you guys care about that. I'm glad you came with that question, Randy. That's very engaging. I appreciate that. We also have Wanda, who's in the house, Mrs. Misha. You want to make sure you check out her channel. If you are about families, you about family orientation, structure, and stuff like that, you're going to want to check Wanda out. Her channel is excellent. All right? We have my friends from Brick Girls Go Stateside. Yeah, they had to dip out, but go check out these lovely ladies from Britain. They talk about the differences between the States and British culture and a whole bunch in between. Lovely channel. They're great friends of mine. They help me come up. You will love it. And we have my friend Precious who came in here. She had to dip out, but thank you very much. She used to be a part of the YouTube community as well. Right? Who else did we get? Did we miss anybody? We got my boy from Drees TV, who also came through with the $2 super chat. Thank you for donating to the channel. We cannot do this without you guys, right? I made sure that all the money I put back in here, I upgraded all of this, where you got all this nice watermark and no duck, because of you guys, okay? I don't make enough from this to even profit off of it. So I just throw it right back in here so we can make this the best channel, a place that men can come and voice their opinions and their feelings and stuff. And we can have great dialogue with our ladies who challenge us to think, and also are sympathetic to men who are trying to be men. And I appreciate that about all of them. Who else was up in here before I forget anybody? We got my boy James Smith in the house. Thank you for being here tonight, brother. I appreciate you. Who else was up in here? We have my boy Neil. I have a story to tell. Make sure you go check out his channel. Neil has so much on his channel I can't even tell you. Gig economy, comedy, just Neil got a lot. Check him out. Tell him I sent you. We got Anthony Lures. He said, supporting the channel. Thank you very much for being one of the first people up in here. We got Steel Keys, who was up in here dropping knowledge and stuff like that. We got my boy John Thomas, who came, was up in the house tonight. I appreciate that. Yep, did I talk about, did I shout out Anthony? Anthony was up in here dropping knowledge tonight. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. I am retired as one of the first people up in here checking me on my sound. Thank you. Okay. And also we had Razor Rays, one of my new subs. Thank you guys. Thank you, bro, for being one of my new subs. You are now a Gent, and we talk about these things. We talk about topics that affect men. We talk about topics that men need to be aware of that's going to help us to make better decisions. Some of the things that we talked about tonight. The other thing is my adventures in travel. I'm a full-time travel. I am a retired Navy chief. I've personally been in charge of over 2,000 people. Okay, I have been a mentor. I've sat across from young men who were born after I graduated high school. I know I look young and everything, but that black don't crack, baby. Okay, so I want to thank everybody tonight for being here. Thank you guys. We will do this next week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done it. And with that being said, live your best life.